Joong is a disgraced ex-policeman who makes money by finding women all over the town and renting them to different clients. One day, his phone rings and one of his girls got into trouble with one of the customers. He goes to check on her in a hotel and sees the man brought in a few of his friends with a camera so they can film the girl. He goes there and beats the hell out of the men. And when he leaves the place with the girl, she says that she wants to quit. Joong's girls are leaving him one after the other. For his new customer, he calls one of his girls Mi-jin, and it's her day off. Mi-jin is a mother, and even though she says that she is sick and can't go to the address, Joong makes her to go there. While he's sitting in his car, he finds a phone there which belongs to one of his girls that he recently lost. In the meanwhile, Mi-jin takes her red car and goes to the address. Joong plugs in the phone that he found in his car, and when he looks at the last number on her phone, he realizes that it is the same number as the customer that Mi-jin is going to visit. He calls Mi-jin and tells her as soon as she arrived at the place, sends him the address. Mi-jin arrives, and when the man wants to open the door, he has a keychain with lots and lots of keys, and he has trouble finding the one for the door. Mi-jin goes inside, and the first thing that she wants to do is to send the address for Joong. She asks for the bathroom and goes there, but her phone does not have any bars. She climbs towards a window and tries again and sees that it's not a window but it's a brick wall behind it. Then she looks inside the bath and sees blood and hair there. She comes out of the bathroom and wants to go out of the door, but the man locked it. And there she realizes what's about to happen. Joong cannot call her either, and she doesn't pick up. In the next scene, we see Mi-jin on the bathroom floor tied up. The man comes in with a bag and takes his stuff out. A scissor, a saw, an axe, a hammer, and even a hook. He puts a huge nail on Mi-jin's head and wants to pierce her skull. He hits hard, but Mi-jin moves her head in time and the man misses. He tries again and misses again, and this time he hits his own hand. He gets mad and just hits Mi-jin in the head with the hammer. He wants to finish the job, but the doorbell rings. An old couple is looking for Mr. Park. The man says that he doesn't live there no more and goes back inside, but there is a dog there, and the old couple, they know this dog. It's Mr. Park's dog. The killer, who knows that he will get into trouble if they go away, he talks to the couple again and invites them in. Inside the house, he kills them both and go out to move their car, and by accident, he crashes his car into Joong's car on the way. Joong starts talking to the man and wants his info and sees blood on his shirt. He suspects him and calls the customer's number, and the man's phone vibrates in his pocket. Joong wants to ask him about the girls, but he runs away. After a few minutes, Joong catches up to the man and beats him to get what he wants, but the police comes and takes them both to the station. In the station, no one listens to Joong because he has a bad reputation, and the man says that Joong beat him up. It's actually obvious because he has bruises all over his face. When the police talks to Joong, the killer, he doesn't say his address, and after a few minutes, he confesses to all his kills. Chief of the police calls one of the officers who worked with Joong before to interrogate Joong. In the car, they talk to Joong, and when he is telling the story of his kills, they realize that they match what they've been looking for, and he actually did kill people. Joong gives the address to the police, and they tell the address to Joong, but he knows that he is lying, and Mi-jin is in the neighborhood where he bumped into Joong. So he takes one of his friends with him and gives him the keychain that Joong left in his car and tells him to check all the houses of that neighborhood. Joong himself goes to the station and wants to get Mi-jin's address or a DNA sample if possible. A policeman goes with them and they arrive at Mi-jin's house, and there they see that Mi-jin has a 7-year-old daughter. When Joong sees that there is no one to take after this girl, he takes the child with him. From the station, he took Joong's address too, and when he goes there, he talks to his sister, and we see that Joong has a son too. The boy has a nasty scar on his head, and the sister says that if she didn't stop Joong sooner, he could have easily killed the boy. The police is investigating the place where Joong gave the address of, and they don't find anything. Joong tells them and begs them to search the neighborhood where he saw Joong. Finally, the cops want to look into what Joong says, but at the same time, Young comes out of the station and he is returning to his house. But the police is following him. At the same time, Mi-jin wakes up and unties herself with a broken piece of tile and escapes the house. She sees a supermarket and goes inside and asks for help. Blood all over her body, barely conscious, Mi-jin explains everything to the woman who is in the supermarket. We cut to Young again and he runs out of cigarettes. He enters the exact same supermarket where Mi-jin hid and sees the traces of blood. The woman in the supermarket tells him everything and she is scared. She tells Young that she called the cops and wants him to stay there until they arrive. She gives Young a hammer to protect, and Young easily kills the woman and goes to the back of the store, and there he easily finishes Mi-jin too and escapes through the window. Joong arrives at the store, but the police is already there and they take out bodies from inside. Then Joong checks his phone and sees a few missed calls and messages from Mi-jin. She sent them from the supermarket. She said that she wanted out. The guilt is killing Joong and he wants to find Young no matter what. After a few days, he uses the keychain and goes inside the house. He sees Young all dressed up for church and they start the fight. Joong beats the hell out of him and their fight goes on for a few minutes. Finally, Joong hits Young with a hammer in the head, and when he wants to finish the job, the cops show up behind him. They search the house and they find 9 more bodies. In the last scene, Joong is looking at Mi-jin's little girl. The guilt haunts him again. Why did he have to call Mi-jin that day? That was the recap of the movie The Chaser. Don't forget to subscribe for more recaps and leave a like to this one if you liked it. Thanks. Bye.